YouTube, what's up? It's been a while, right? Just get work out of the way. It's been a little bit since we've chatted about DEADROP, mostly because we're in this lull in between snapshots. Lots to look forward to, but we're not quite there yet. So I thought now more than ever would be kind of a cool time to sit back, take a look back on what's happened in snapshots previous, starting from Snapshot 1 all the way up to Snapshot 6. So with that said, let's get started. Snapshot 1. July 29th, 2022 is a day I will never forget. This snapshot is where it all started. A few hundred of us packed our bags, got on a plane, and flew to LA. The LA event was not only just a founders only event, it was where DEADROP was going to get revealed to the whole world. This event, we were able to meet Doc, we got to meet the Midnight Society devs, and we also, for the first time ever, got hands-on with DEADROP. So what was included in this snapshot? When you first opened Snapshot 1, you were spawned into an elevator that eventually opened up the player hideout. This was a huge feature that gave us an insight on what the hideout could potentially look like down the road. Once the elevator opened, you were looking straight at a weapons bench where potentially all your weapons would be stored. There were also 3 different firing ranges that all served a different purpose. The first firing range was an interior one with short to medium range stationary targets. The second range was an exterior range with limited visibility due to the stormy weather outside of your hideout. The targets were not only medium to long range, but they moved at various speeds to increase difficulty. The third and last range was at the bottom of the outdoor section of the hideout. One thing that was neat about this range is that the targets were SIN prototypes and they popped up based on the proximity of the player. The purpose of this range was for reaction speed and accuracy. Most of the targets were close to medium range. One thing to add regarding these ranges, they actually track stats. A timer tracked your speed and your accuracy was tracked as well. And of course, the completion of those ranges were not possible without seeing our first weapon, the assault rifle. At that time, we had no optics available, so it was purely restricted to iron sights, but it did have single fire and fully auto options. The AR is the OG weapon of DEADROP. And that was pretty much it. And I say that was pretty much it, but it was far more than anyone expected whenever we went to LA. I'm pretty sure that most of us thought that we were getting like a white box area, just something in a block out state that we could shoot a gun. And that was really according to what Midnight Society was tweeting leading up to the event. We had no clue that there was any kind of art pass on those firing ranges. And man, just to touch back on that event, to be in the same room as Midnight Society and Dr. Disrespect and see that logo drop publicly for the first time, being one of the few that were actually there in person, man, it doesn't get any better than that. And now fast forward a few weeks later to September 20th for Snapshot 2. This snapshot is really what I like to call the foundation snapshot. Yet again, Midnight Society surpassed all expectations on this one. Just 8 short weeks after releasing the first snapshot, multiplayer was introduced. Not only was PvP introduced, but the foundation of the DEADROP game loop was introduced as well. Extraction points were added in, and we got our first taste of winning the DEADROP. If you're unfamiliar with this mechanic, it's what makes DEADROP DEADROP. Midnight Society has blended the idea of battle royale and extraction games, meaning that if you want to extract at any point, you're free to do so. If you want to put it all on the line and fight to be the last man or squad standing, go for it. If you get to the end and you are the last man or squad standing, you're rewarded with the DEADROP. You are welcome to take something from the leftover loot as your reward. This snapshot introduced that incredibly unique mechanic, and I'm really looking forward to see how that evolves as we go through this whole process. Another major scope item that got introduced was the Proving Ground map. We didn't know at the time, but this was the stepping stone to cold storage. The Proving Ground was in a blockout stage, which means it was in the first of 4 art stages. First you have blockout, then proxy, then refinement, then polish. It was very beige and not very pretty to look at, but I've got a lot of funny moments running around that map with the rest of the community. We got a pretty cool hint of the future in the addition of the garage to the player hideout in the snapshot. We weren't able to do anything inside of the garage, but we could walk in, take a look what is coming down the road potentially. You know, you had a few cars that were under car covers, as well as one that sat on the platform. And we were able to extract with different paint colors, and you could change the color of this car as much as we wanted. Unfortunately, the garage was taken away from us in a future snapshot, but I have a feeling that this is coming back in a major way in Snapshot 7. To continue the major things that were introduced, we got 11 more weapons to play with. 4 rifles, 4 shotguns, 4 pistols in total. Not only that, but looting was introduced. And with all that looting, we needed a place to put it, so the stash was introduced. And last, but certainly not least, lifelinks were introduced. Only, at this time, they weren't called lifelinks, they were just health stations. Like I said, the foundation of this game was really introduced in this snapshot. Snapshot 2 was huge for DEADROP. And then on November 8th, Snapshot 3 was introduced, and man, the traversal features that came in this one, it was a good one. We got some major movement updates in Snapshot 3. Zip lines were added, and man, they kind of went crazy with them. It looked like a spider web all over the proving grounds. We also got ladders, as well as a plethora of movement mechanics. We were now able to climb, vault, mantle, and tactically slide. Yes, the awesome Apex-esque slide was introduced in this snapshot. Another big thing that got added was ammo types, and they were finite. If memory serves me right, in Snapshot 2, I believe that ammo wasn't in the loot system, and it was also unlimited, meaning whenever you came out into the world, whatever guns that you brought into DEADROP, you just had unlimited ammo. And then we also saw optics become lootable, a very welcomed addition to the gunplay. And last but not least, we saw Brad Boyce, the level designer for Midnight Society, do some work on the Proving Ground map. Not only were zip lines and ladders added, but the looting locations and the healing stations were changed as well. And we also saw some structural changes in the Proving Grounds itself. The Proving Ground came a lot closer to the cold storage map that we see today. Now we come to December 20th, 2022. That is when Snapshot IV was released, and this was a big one. Snapshot IV introduced the beloved sniper class, and while this gun was a ton of fun, it was a one-shot kill anywhere on the body. There's one. There's two. Oh no. There's another one. Oh, you got shot in the toe? Back to the lobby you go. Nonetheless, plenty of funny clips were made with this gun. Oh, that was not me. That was not me.
I looked over at you.
That was not me. I am gonna loot your stuff though.
Fuck you. Did you kill me? Was that you?
No, I promise it wasn't me.
What, so you're about to loot me and you're about to die from the same sniper?
Yeah.
Just so you can loot me?
Yeah.
You dick.
Alright, yep, I'm running.
Oh yeah, okay. Good luck.
Okay. We also saw more attachments get introduced in this snapshot. Magazines, lasers, stocks, barrels, they were all brought into the world of DEADROP, as well as the backpack system. We also saw the instigator system get introduced. This is where you're able to see who kills you and who you kill, as well as any kind of damage and health stats. This was a really great ad, but at the time we were only known as our variant call signs, so it was really hard to tell who you were killing or who killed you. You had to run to the Discord and like, hey, who was that up on the top of control, you know, that sort of thing. So I'm really glad in the next snapshot, in Snapshot 5, they added to where we could actually change our names. That was a cool feature. And then we also got to see more movement mechanics introduced. Ledge hanging, shimmying, and hand over hand climbing was introduced. Fun fact, you were actually able to climb hand over hand up zip lines. It was very risky and really not worth it, but it was a cool feature. For me, the most exciting item that got added in this snapshot was Prox Chat. Oh man.
How's it feel?
Hello everybody.
Oh my.
Hello.
Oh, it's nice.
Look at all these handsome men right here.
Hello.
There's only one more left. Being dudes.
Oh no! Another feature that just, it's a foundation piece of DEADROP. It's what makes DEADROP DEADROP. And to close out Snapshot 4, This is where the 6-week intervals stopped. So from Snapshot 1 to Snapshot 4, we saw a new snapshot every 6 weeks. Well, that all changed. On March 17th, we got Snapshot 5, and man, this one is a doozy. Snapshot 5 was by far the largest snapshot we had ever seen to date. This was the first snapshot of the 3-month cycle, and man, Midnight Society delivered. We got to kick things off live in Arlington, Texas at the esports arena, and not only did we get to see Snapshot 5 revealed live in person, but we got some pretty sick merch out of the Optic DEADROP collab. Also, we got these cool bobbleheads. The first thing that's worth mentioning is the introduction of the tower key. This allowed gamers that were not variants to purchase a key and dive into the game for a small fee of 25 bucks. With that addition, we not only saw Claws, aka non-founders, get welcomed into the game, but we also saw the Visor Cortexes get introduced for us founders.
That's me! That's me! That's me! Bro!
This was huge for us because it gave us identity within the game. Through our purchase of our Visor Cortex early on to get into the founder program, we were now able to load up the game and see our investment inside of DEADROP. Pretty cool if you ask me. The most obvious thing that got introduced gameplay wise was cold storage. This was the first time we had ever stepped into the tower. We saw a major art pass. Kind of a side note, the blog actually calls this a proxy plus state. So Snapshot 5, proxy plus state. Just a little interesting tidbit. And for the first time ever in DEADROP, we got our first look at a sector shutdown. The Rising Freeze was introduced to push players up cold storage towards the super lift, where either you extract or you fight out the rest of the lobby to win the DEADROP. We also saw the additions of theatrical extractions. The only extractions we had before cold storage were the maglock doors, but in Snapshot 5 we got the helipad extract, the zipline extract, and the super lift. Another major component that got added into this snapshot was the Sin system. This allows players to respawn twice after dying, so overall that leaves you with a total of 3 lives. This is a huge mechanic that is not only extremely unique for this game, but for the extraction genre overall. I assume that inside of DEADROP and outside of DEADROP, we will continue to see this kind of morphing of a respawn system develop over time. There was also a pretty big art pass in the weapons. 6 weapons total got an art pass, with a major highlight on the SMG. My favorite weapon in the game, by the way. Weapon mods were also introduced. These affect the fire rate, damage, recoil, and spread depending on the weapon class. And we got our very first legendary weapon skin set, the Deep Freeze Collection. Equipment also got introduced to the game for the very first time. We got the smoke grenade, and in my opinion, it is a piece of equipment that is highly underutilized. Equipment is huge for me, so I'm really excited to see what gets added into the game in the future. The larger the equipment pool, the more broad the sandbox will be, which means that replayability will just go through the roof. Another big thing that got added was the 3 levels of armor. This was a huge addition that is easy to overlook. With so many weapons and attachments, grabbing the right armor is absolutely crucial when dropping into the game. And then just some honorable mentions for this snapshot includes leaning while ADSing, that's a huge part of the game, an official DEADROP theme song that is an absolute banger of a song if you haven't heard it, an increased lobby size, and upgrading the health stations to lifelinks. Also, later in the snapshot, we got an anti-cheat patch that included reporting players and kicking exploiting players in a pre-alpha access game. Come on, man. That's awesome. And then last but not least, we have Snapshot 6. Now, I'm not going to go into the details on this one because we're currently playing this one, and there are plenty of creators that have covered what's been involved in this one. There's AI, there's squads, there's the grenade, new proving ground. I mean, I could go on, but if you're interested in seeing more, I've got a video on my page. You can go ahead and go watch that and leave a like and a sub, or you can go to plenty of the other DEADROP creators that are creating awesome videos on this game. But that's kind of the history of the snapshots in a small little few minute video. We've came a long way in a little over a year. As you can see, we've had some pretty major snapshots in the past. So what's next? What's Snapshot 7 gonna look like? Now, I'm not gonna go into speculation on this video. Maybe that's for another time once we get closer to Snapshot 7. But we do know of some way there's going to be vehicles introduced in some form or fashion, right? That is the one leak that we know of. And I think it's going to be a pretty big one based on how Rob has been, gosh, the last 6 months. He keeps kind of quietly, subtly hinting at vehicles, and it's been really fun. They've been quietly hyping up Snapshot 7 for a while now, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Snapshot 7 drops on October 20th, and I'll be live in person checking that out in Vegas. Stupid excited. And before I close it out, what was your favorite Snapshot? What did you really enjoy? What was something that you absolutely loved? For me, I look back and whenever Prox Chat was added, man, that was a turning point for me. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you for checking out the video. Thank you for checking out the channel. And hey, I'll see you on the next one.